Starting a farm is not an easy task. It involves many variables involving where you want to farm, how you want to farm, what you want to farm, and how big you want your farm to be. There are many things to consider, and even though this is a how-to guide to get you started on starting a farm, the rest is up to you. Start off by drafting up a plan. Have a business plan, an operational plan, and a strategic down on paper before you buy or start a farm. Note where you are, where you want to be, and how you want to get there. Additional personal and business goals and objectives, and financial and market goals and objectives are also important to note. Reviewed and write down your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, also called a SWOT analysis, 3 of both yourself and the operation you want to get started in, as well as the farm you have in mind to purchase or start up from scratch. You will need to figure the cost of the land, equipment, and necessary improvements that must be faced before beginning your farm operation. There isn't a set price for land, or a fixed amount of land required to begin a farming operation, so you will need to look carefully at those prices in the location you have chosen. Equipment can be very expensive but you may have an option to buy it with dealer financing or by purchasing used equipment. Farming requires an investment each year to maintain operations. Some costs are upfront, like buying or renting the land, buying equipment, and funds to sustain you until you have sold crops/livestock. Other costs that are going to be faced each year are fuel and maintenance for equipment. You will most likely be buying diesel fuel for combines and tractors, hydraulic oil, engine oil, and other items to keep your machinery running. Seeds and fertilizer are necessary to produce a crop, and you will need to invest in these every year you plant and harvest your crops. Chemicals to protect your crops from insects, diseases, and invasive plants/weeds. Utility bills. You will almost certainly use some electrical power for water pumps and for maintenance equipment like an air compressor and other power tools beyond what you will need for your living quarters and day-to-day life. Farming doesn't pay you a weekly salary. Your payday comes when you sell the product of your farm, and often that isn't until the end of your growing season. The land is the foundation of how, where, and what you farm. The climate also dictates what you can raise and how it will affect you and your operation. Hilly terrain is more suited for livestock raising than crop production, whereas gently rolling or almost flat is suited for crops. Dig a small pit and get some soil samples around the farm. Soil samples that can be sent into a lab can tell you the type of soil, silt, sand, or clay, or a combination of any 2 or 3, and quality, organic matter, organic carbon content, nutrient details primarily nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and sulfur, salinity and pH levels. A soil pit or even data done on previous surveying of soil types can tell you depth of soil horizons, and especially for crop growers, the depth of the first horizon, which where most of the root biomass will be, as well as the nutrient content. Soil is incredibly important for crop production, because if results come back that it's not up to PAR, or if some research on data that had been done previously shows that it's not good for crop production, then you may have to look elsewhere for better land or find something that will do better on it. Vegetation. For crop production, surrounding vegetation that is growing wild in other pastures or along roadsides is unimportant, because you aren't going to be wanting to raise livestock, just produce crop for sale of your own choice. Even if you're starting a farm in an area you are already familiar with, sometimes refamiliarizing yourself with the information can be helpful for the kind of farming operation you want to get started in. If the farm you are buying doesn't have the proper buildings on it already, planning and building may be required to make the farm you are taking over into one you have in mind. But sometimes many buildings may just need to be repaired if they are in need of it, and others may have to be taken down because they are decrepit and too old to be of any use to you. If you are doing crop, orchard, fruit, or vegetable farming, make sure you have all the necessary machinery that is built to seed, care for, and harvest the crops you are willing to sow and grow. Things like tractors are very important. Know what crops are best for you to sow, and what fertilizers, herbicides, and pesticides to use on that crop. 9. Be prepared to be flexible and to learn as you go. As for livestock, now is a good time to purchase your animals. Make sure you start with good animals and not someone's crappy culls. Carry through with what you've been planning for and built up to now, as this will most likely what will make your business click. Do some research on climate history of your area. Climate is one of the most important factors that affect a farming operation, because it influences when things need to be done before a certain change in a season will hit and disable a possibility or hope of doing what you wanted to on your farm. Go to a local agricultural or county extension office located in your county, state, or province to look at the different reports on the different climatic conditions that have happened over the years for the area you will be farming in. Conclusion: before going to start, make a brief calculation about fixes cost, variable costs, or expenditure incurred, what output or profit you can expect. Basic facilities currently available, what should be implemented as necessary need. Understand farming, tillage, seeding, harvest, and implementation of organic farming.